Hello, amazing, beautiful word of mouth story lovers. It's about the time I share another word of mouth story with you. So let's begin. There was once a mad scientist named Gallo. Gallo was a very, very crazy guy. Gallo was also a black man. And Gallo was very racist. He hated white people, every single fiber and atom with him. He hated these white people because of two reasons. Number one, because of the discrimination that still exists in this world, even after the slave trade era. And number two, because of the slave trade era. What they did his ancestors during the time of the slave masters. So Gallo hated them with every fiber in him. But Gallo was not like some people that go out there trying to hurt white people because of hatred for them. No, Gallo was like, I'm a mad scientist, I have to approach things in a mad scientist way. So I won't support them in any way possible that's any illegal, that kind of stuff. So Gallo actually went ahead to think, research, do his planning in order to find a unique and wonderful way to actually get back at white people that's not illegal and something that actually fits his status of being a mad scientist. So Gallo researched day and night, read all the books on slave trade, knew what dates, knew who did what, knew the place, knew the time, knew every single thing about the slave trade era in his mind. He could actually tell you everything about slave trade from his mind without using a book. So Gallo now was very, very prepared. He knew all the history, knew everything, but Gallo needed a grand plan to get back at these white people. Then being a mad scientist, he knew what he had to do. Gallo discovered that the perfect plan, the best plan is to never allow slave trade era to actually ever happen. So Gallo had a plan. He said he would jump back in time, invent a time machine, jump back in time, and actually use this time machine to actually take back certain invention, blueprints of all this crazy invention that human has already invented. So Gallo said he'd go back 500 years before slave trade era and deposit this things, teach Africans, tell them all this stuff, prepare them, enlighten them, teach them all these technologies, and they'll be able to protect themselves from these slave masters, and this slave master will not be able to take advantage of them. So that was Gallo's plan, to actually go back in time before the slave trade anything and actually educate his people, and they'll be able to fight off the slave masters. So Gallo now had to invent this time machine, so he actually brought about the idea, he discovered various different scientific ways that he could actually invent his time machine. So he needed investors, he needed people to give him money to actually do certain things concerning the invention. He could not do it all by himself. So he actually told people about the invention, what got to who and where, and people started investing into it. But the funniest part is all of Gallo's investors were white people. So they didn't actually know the real detail of why Gallo was doing this time machine. So Gallo was working at it day and night. His workers, 1,000 of them at the time, were all black people. They all knew the idea of, okay, this stuff is to actually go back in time, to actually make black people, empower them and those kind of stuff, to ensure that slave trade time never happened. But the white people that were the investors, they were just like inventing a time machine. So as they were inventing it, bringing all the money for the invention, Gallo, when they actually hit success, when the invention was in progress, when they actually made it work, Gallo actually scrapped the whole invention. He told his investors, told everybody that this invention did not work, nothing happened, that the time machine failed, everything was just a scrap. Afterward, forgot about this invention. Gallo now has made all his investors, the white people, to forget about the invention, because it won't make any sense if they actually discover that he's actually creating this time machine to actually get back at them. So he actually scrapped the process, told a lie there that the invention was not a success, so that everybody's eye will go off of his invention. So everybody just forget about it. Millions have been lost in the process of inventing this time machine. It's a failure. Gallo is not a great scientist and all this kind of stuff. So everybody's eye is off it. But him and his 100 syndicate, him and his 100 black people that want their plan to come, but they all knew that the invention was actually a success. So behind on the ground, everybody was actually working. So Gallo began to gather all the blueprints, gather all the ways technology was invented, started gathering all these files, big materials, putting them in big boxes, because they were preparing themselves to go back in time to actually educate these black people and empower them so that they will not be victims to slave masters because of the little advancement slave masters have in technology. So they were going there to actually help the black people advance the technology of time, so that when the slave masters come, the slave masters will not be able to actually oppress these people. So Gallo was gathering all the blueprints for guns, the blueprints for cars, the blueprints for armor trucks, how to build houses, skyscrapers, a lot of things. Gallo was gathering the blueprints for every single technology that was invented. So Gallo, being a slave history teacher himself, he already knew the exact place to land that will actually aid his plan. He knew the exact time, he knew the exact everything that will actually make this plan a success. So Gallo and his 1,000 men syndicate, they actually fixed the date when they are going to travel back in time and actually stop slave trade era, stop racism, and stop all this thing forever. So Gallo already had his date, he had his time, everything, the blueprints are all there, everything is ready. So on that very appointed day, Gallo and his 1,000 men, they decided to jump back in time. So they jumped back in time to their very specific location. So after they jumped back in time, they had guns, they had all the stuff, technologies and blueprints that they took to the past. So on reaching that place, the people there were dressed naked, some were dressed with animal skins, a lot of weird sweet people here. So they could not actually understand what was going on. So Gallo and his 1,000 men made the people to believe that they were gods. And at that time, if you are a little bit 2 steps ahead of me, I don't believe you are God, because if somebody had a way to make fire come out of his hands and all kinds of stuff, because the Gallo had like a lot of different technologies that they took from modern days back to the olden days, and those technologies aided them to help the people believe that Gallo and his men were gods. So now they have made these people believe they are gods, which makes their work easier now, because now if they believe they are gods, they will actually submit their thoughts, submit their mind, submit everything to these people, because wow, you are gods, and you are also black people, you are gods, nothing too strange about them. So they believe that Gallo and his 1,000 men were gods, and they began to tell them a lot of things, teach them about these technologies, teach them their language, teach them a lot of things. So everybody was just like open-minded. They even started learning language, because now they were not able to speak, communicate fluently. They were using sign language before they actually taught them their English and they were speaking. So they used that, and everybody started getting along with everybody, and they started teaching them these blueprints of these weapons, guns, armor trucks, all the technologies that have been invented in the future of mankind. So this Gallo and his men started teaching them. They started inventing things with very, very fast pace. They started inventing things day and night. They made the people work hard. And then we were working with joy, because they thought, okay, these are the gods that came to visit us. So they were working hard, inventing different blueprints, using the blueprint that they took from the future to the past, like guns, armor truck, gunpowder, bombs, all this stuff. So they were inventing this stuff, piano, clock, a lot of things. So they were inventing day and night, just modernizing the whole place with a very, very fast pace. Developing the whole, developing this, developing that. And before you know it, that whole Africa, because the Gallo now was spreading the world, not just in one country in Africa, was doing it here, moving there, because they actually took some vehicles to actually move around, that they can actually move around, like solar vehicles, because now they can take like things that use fuel at the time, because it would actually be hard to fuel those things. So they took like solar vehicles from the future to the past. So they were actually moving around to various sides of Africa, actually developing, spreading the world, and everybody thought they were gods. So that's what actually happened, and in a very, very short time, they really turned the whole of the African continent to utopia, and Africa was very, very sophisticated, just as if they mailed all the technologies from the future to the past, and Africa was like Wakanda, if you've seen the movie. So now Africa is like Wakanda. Gallo and his 1,000 men have actually made their wishes to come to pass. They've actually teleported, transferred these futuristic technologies back 500 years before slave time. And now Gallo was thinking to himself, should they just leave? No, Gallo said, no, you will not leave. Gallo told his men that he's not about to play defense anymore, that he wants to play offense. So he said, he's so passionate about what he's about to do that he's going to take the slave trade era. He's not just going to tell these people to defend themselves from slave masters. He said he will take the slave trade era to the slave masters. He'll take it to Europe, he'll take it to America, he'll take it to every place that these slave masters are going to come from, Portugal and all these places. He said he's not going to wait for them to actually come and even try to do that. He said he's going to take it. And Gallo's name at the time, he made the people call him the god of future vengeance. So Gallo said, you know what, good people, we are going to actually go to these slave masters and actually make them our slaves. Instead, we're not going to just wait and defend ourselves from them. We are going to actually go there and make them our slaves. Gallo and his men, his 1,000 men, they were like, are you guys ready? Let's go. He gathered all the African people, everybody were already ready. He really taught them how to use technology. They had guns, they had weapons, they had armor trucks, they had every single thing you could think of. Every modern thing, they had it 500 years before slave masters could even come. So Gallo said, you know what? God of future vengeance is about to take us on a conquest. So they went into Europe, went into the Americans, went into every single continent that you can think of, and actually brought slave trade there. They actually went there, oppressed the people. This was actually forceful oppression, made them believe. Here's what Gallo told them. He told them, you guys are the one God created that when the color that God was using to color people was finished, that's when God created these white people, that they were colorless, they were like this. So Gallo was actually bringing out, venting the anger he had, his racism and everything. Gallo was actually pouring it out. You guys are colorless. You guys are the one God invented when the color in heaven finished. You guys are like this. You guys are like that. He was beating oppression here, using his technologies, using this advanced futuristic things to actually oppress these white people and make his wishes to actually come to pass. So Gallo was feeling very, very fulfilled. His plan has been a success. He has actually fulfilled what he calls his destiny. His destiny was actually find a way to get back at these white people in a very mad scientist kind of way. So Gallo has fulfilled his so long heart's desire. He has actually enslaved these white people. He has actually made them believe they are not human beings. He has actually fulfilled all his racist desires, actually made them believe they are colorless, they are this, they are that. Gallo has actually fulfilled the desires of his heart. So he told his guys, his 1,000 men that were his right-hand men in his 1,000 close inner circle, he told them, guys, I'm feeling very fulfilled, I'm feeling very happy. I think it's about that time we jump back to the future, we jump into the future and actually see the fruit of our labor, because now we have already enslaved them. We have even pushed slave trade from 500 years into the future, push it backward a little bit. We have actually fulfilled our purpose here. So let's go back in time and see and enjoy the fruits of our labor, since we have actually become the slave masters. So that's what they did. They prepared themselves, waved everybody farewell. We're going to go back in time. We are gods of the future, vengeance. It's about time we go back to where we came from. So everybody was like crying, oh no, Gallo is about to leave.
And they entered into a time machine and went back to their current time where they were. So on reaching there, they discovered something. First of all the history books have changed. Secondly, the slave trade era still ended. You know why? All the Mahatma Gandhis, all the Nelson Mandelas, all the Martin Luther King, everyone was now born as white. Because now these people, their destiny was to bring freedom. So now they discovered that the slave masters are now the black people. They are Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, all these people were now born as white people, and they still fought for freedom, fought against oppression of the black people. So everything was like flip-flop. So the only benefits that was there was like the little discrimination that still existed even after the slave trade era has ended. So Ghana was like, wow, I didn't expect the whole Nelson Mandela and Mahatma Gandhi and all the Martin Luther King to actually go to the side of the white people. They are actually black people. That's what the history books say. But now the history books have changed. And one funny part is that Gallo and his 1,000 men found themselves in the history books. They were called the gods from the future because that's what they were. So they were now in the history books because they brought camera. If you can remember, they invented camera, so they took a lot of pictures. So everything was up to date. So when people saw them, they like could actually check the museums, check everything and say like, wow, you guys look identical to the gods of the future past. So they actually gave them various privileges and they were treated fine, they were treated well, and they were treated like gods because after the slave trade era. And mostly if you check all the places like the whites, the black people they're actually the ones that still run things here and they even do slave trade era. And so little discrimination still existed against the white people. But nevertheless, this Gallo and his men, they were like treated like gods because they look like the gods that happened in the whole history of the world and all those kind of stuff. But what now happened is that Gallo was like just watching everything, like he was just very happy with himself. He was like, I have finally gotten my revenge as a mad scientist against these white people. So Gallo was just watching everything, looking at everybody. But now something has started happening to Gallo and his men. The more they watch, because now the little discrimination, I know, they were started looking at it and they were not fine. Because now they knew this thing is now still the right thing. We have made ourselves become the slave masters, and now they are like innocent people, they don't know anything, and now they are being oppressed, little here, discrimination, all this kind of stuff. Some people still call them, oh, hey, colonized being. That's what people still call them, and they were like, wow, we actually did change history. Gallo and his men didn't feel right. So Gallo called his 1,000 men and told them, guys, I really don't feel right about what we did. I think we should actually correct it. They didn't find any purpose again, their family, everything was gone. They just came back to the future and everything was different. They were just treated like gods because they looked like gods. But now Gallo was telling his men, guys, I think we'll have to go back in time to actually correct this error that we did. These men say fine, but it was a very big risk they're taking because nobody can jump back in time more than once. If you come back twice, you get stuck in that timeline forever. So Gallo told his men, anybody that is not willing to go into this stuff should not go, because it's a very big risk. You never come back to your modern days timeline. You will die in these days of hope. Somebody was like thinking about it. What are we meant for? We are meant to actually transform this history book. So all of them agreed, 1,000 men plus Gallo, 1,001, they all agreed and jumped back in time. So they jumped back to a very specific time. They jumped back to that time where they have actually developed the whole of Africa, turned it into utopia. But they have not actually went for their conquest against the white people, against the Europeans and all these people. So they actually jumped back just to that time where they were like about to go. So Gallo said, everybody, no. When they just jumped back in time, he said, everybody, nope. We are no longer going to go to this conquest. I have a different revelation, I have a different education that I'm about to give all of you. So Gallo now said he had a different education to actually tell them that he started teaching them about other races, that they are not just black people in the world, they also have white, they also have brown, they also have different people of different races, and these people, their races is more than their color. They actually have different cultures, it's not about their color, they have different languages, different this. So Gallo began teaching them all this stuff. You were like, wow. And he said, guess what? Everybody is a human being, regardless of your color, regardless whether you are white, regardless whether you look black, regardless of what your color is, you are all human beings. So Gallo started actually impacting them with this knowledge because he didn't like what he said. He didn't like, because when he came back to the future, he discovered that oppression is not a good thing at the end of the day. So he went back telling them, look, everybody is a human being. Be it white, be it black, whatever color you are still a human being. So are we going to still go for the conquest? He said, no more conquest. No human being is supposed to be oppressed. No human being is supposed to feel bad about himself, made to feel, no, I'm not a human being, I'm a colorless being, I'm this, I'm that, I look like monkeys. No, see, that is not right. So Gallo was actually educating them, feeding them this stuff. He tell them, say this stuff in the morning, say it in the afternoon, say it in the night. Always remember that regardless of somebody's pigmentation, regardless of what color they are in their skin, they are still human beings. So Gallo said it over and over. So they were just using that technology to develop. He said he's not going to go to them again. So they developed everything, no more conquest, they were just there developing Africa, and what now happened was Gallo and his men, they lived and died in that time. Because if you remember, the rules of time travel states that if you jump back to a point in time twice, you can no longer come back. They jump back, so they can no longer come back. So Gallo and his men lived, and they told them, we too, we are not gods. We just have future technologies that made us to come back to help us, to help you guys, because slave masters help us. So I told them all the truth, no longer lies or anything. So they told them, okay, so Gallo and his men lived and died. So the slave masters will still come 500 years later. But now, for that time, Gomos was explaining that there's a city where technology, everybody's like futuristic and all this kind of stuff. So the white people were hearing about it, people that were all over the globe, they were hearing about this African continent and everything. So Gallo and his men at the time, before they died, they actually mummified themselves in a way that they will not decay even for 10,000 years. So they actually built pyramids, and each pyramid was on top of the other. So they built pyramids to actually mummify the transparent pyramid actually. So they built 1,000 pyramid, 1,001. So Gallo's own pyramid was at the top. So each and every of his guys, when they died, they were buried inside that of mummified, they will not decay. And they were written, their dates when they were born and when they died was written on those pyramids. So it's a kind of way to actually give remembrance to what they actually did for mankind. So their date was written: born 1972, died 23 BC. So that's how the date was written. They were born in the future, died in the past. They had to emphasize. Some of them were wearing jeans inside the pyramid. Some of them were wearing these futuristic things inside there just to show that they were not from that time. So that Gallo and his men have died, but their teachings, their wisdom they have given this black people, given these African people, was still there. So the African people have actually made them believe. Everybody should remember, regardless of your color, regardless of your race, he has actually made them to believe that stuff. So now, when the white people started coming in, hundreds of years later, the black people have this stuff, had this information in them that everybody should remember regardless of your color. So when the white people now come, now people from other races, people from other continents, people from other places, they were sharing of this place where futuristic technology has come, all this stuff. So that's what actually made them now to come. So when they came, they were like, wow, these people are really advanced. And people told them, we have been sharing about you for hundreds of years. Wow. So you guys are people that are the white people. You guys are the white people in the Americans, in Europe. They were very, very warm, very, very loving, very, very kind because of the teachings that Gallo has given them hundreds of years ago. So now they actually tell you, yeah, we knew of you, we have heard of all of you guys. Yeah, welcome. So they were actually teaching them, telling them all the time. So the white people were like, please, help us. Like, our place is not too developed, our place have not gone too far. They said, no problem. So they actually use what is called fair trade. So if you want our stuff, we'll just give you for fair by day, fairness day. No cheating, no taking advantage of somebody, no oppression, no anything stuff. So actually, the white people sent their people to the black people side. The black people sent some of their people to actually teach in the schools, teach them about hospital, teach them about how the doctor operation works, teach them all this futuristic stuff. So they're actually helping them healthcare, banking, everything. So now the black people started teaching these people fairly, no oppression, no you are not a human being, no any of this stuff. Everything was just done with love, care, and a warm heart. So now Gallo and his men have actually been successful in eradicating any form of slave trade era, any form of slave trade time. They've actually ensured that thing never existed. So now back forward, or should I say fast forward to the future, everything was now actually normal. Nobody had this mindset of, oh, in our past there was a time where we were oppressed, in our past there was a time where all this stuff, the white people did all this, the black people did all this. So Gallo and his men actually, with the power they had at the use of a little technology and the leadership of a mad scientist, they were actually able to actually eliminate the whole history of slave trade. And they were not forgotten. Their site was now a tourist attraction. That's where they died, in the pyramids and everything, where they actually kept themselves to actually make everybody know that something actually had to happen to actually correct history. And because of the technology introduced 500 years before slave trade time, the world actually advanced greatly, more than expected. The world actually advanced. Because think about it. Imagine we had guns and planes and jet fighters and ships and all this stuff. Imagine we had it in the year 200 BC. Imagine what technology will now look like this year, 2024. So that's what happened. So it's a food for thought. So you have to think about that one. But that's the end of the story. And Gallo and his men were successful in actually ending the whole slave trade history forever. Thank you guys for watching. What's the moral lesson of the story? The moral lesson is very simple. Whether you are black, you are white, you are red and black, you don't know what color you are, we are all human beings and we should be treated as one. We are all human beings and we should be treated as such. Love you all. Thanks for watching. See you.